Hello and welcome to another great episode of Iron Port, the program that has been designed to bring Ghana's ports and maritime industry closer to you. It is proudly brought to you by Ghana Revenue Authority, Goyle PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link, Meridian Port Services and Phoenix Insurance. Iron Port is powered by Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times. Viewers, in recent years, a series of military coups has happened across West Africa, leading to a number of key developments, including sanctions placed on these countries by the Economic Community of West Africa states. Consequently, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger would withdraw from ECOWAS. We also heard last week that ECOWAS announced the lifting of these sanctions on these particular countries. Viewers, we know that Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger play a major role so far as the transit trade through Ghana is concerned. We at Iron Port this week wanted to find out the impact and the effect these developments would have on trade and security in West Africa. Up next is an excerpt of that discussion. Take a listen.
28th of January 2024 was when these three countries issued a joint statement indicating their withdrawal from the ECOWAS bloc. I just want to find out from you, as Borderless Alliance, you've been doing a lot of work with this particular bloc within West Africa. I want to find out from you what your initial reaction was when you heard the news.
Now, I won't say that it was a surprise when the letter came in January about the decision of the landlocked countries to break away.
Yes.
It was long time obvious that they were disenfranchised.
Yes.
But it was still all the same, it was a frustration because just in December during the Heads of State Summits, the discussions were all centered about how near we are to celebrating 50 years of ECOWAS in 2025 and how 2023 will actually be a year of celebrations in the run-up to the 50 years. There was also talk about Accra hosting a summit about free movement. Maybe next week we will hear more about it, I am hoping. And then all of a sudden comes the news that instead of more integration, we were starting the year with disintegration.
Right.
So it was a disappointment on a personal level. Then the next immediate thought was that after double-checking that the news were valid, then the main priority was to prevent any kind of disruptions with the movement of the goods of trade moving from the coastal countries into the landlocked countries, because now that the intention is there, the borders were no longer certain to be open by the time some of them will be moving. And so we liaised, we activated our national committees, and we liaised with the economic operators and the traders across to tell them to hold on while the situation at the borders becomes more clear. Because you don't want a situation where, similar to how it happened in November when the borders closed in Niger, and then operators were stuck for weeks on end. So we asked operators to hold on while it remains to be determined whether these borders will be closed immediately, depending on state, because you are no longer talking about the normal way of doing business within ECOWAS states.
Yeah.
These are, in the first place, not democratically elected organizations, even though they have their own, let's say, sovereign status, if we want to call it. So they have control over their land borders. You don't have control over it. And in a way, you can see the reason why these countries were thinking or considering themselves more and more as a backstage for the rest of the region. I mean, what's the point of sticking to a regional group if you don't see the benefits from associating with a regional group? And these are not poor countries. They are very rich in resources. But it is the way these resources have been shared out within their countries that have caused their people to be disenfranchised. And then it was the way that the relationships within the ECOWAS space have, and the dynamics of that relationship, which had implications on the relationship between the states and the heads of states. Eventually, these have decided that they have economic benefits or political benefits elsewhere,
Yeah.
and that they are going to take their businesses internally. Now, keep in mind that in the longer term, these three countries are landlocked countries. There's nothing that they can do that can change this fact.
Yes.
A landlocked country will rely on the coastal countries for its
Absolutely.
normal functioning in the import and the
Yes.
export
Yes.
of raw material,
Yes.
critical components,
Yes.
life, health,
Yeah.
food. All of it will be remaining on the assumption of a healthy relationship between the coastal countries and the landlocked countries.
yeah.
And that has always been on the back of the minds of the major stakeholders, especially those engaged in regional trade.
Yeah.
Burkina Shippers Council have always, for example, shopped around for the best alternatives. They've always built redundancies,
Yeah.
so they don't only use exclusively the Tema corridor, for example. They always have a plan B and plan C in case disruptions come. You know that your trade will function. So all this being taken into consideration, it is refreshing that the ECOWAS has made the first move, which is to lift the sanctions, because obviously the sanctions were going nowhere. And the objective is to bring these 15 countries back into the fold and to re-engage on finding out exactly what the concerns are, what can be done to help, and then how to actually move forward instead of moving backwards. As though they were saying, we are moving backward for so long. It's time to move back forward in the interest of these countries and their people.
The Continental Free Trade Area, was just about beginning. I mean, we started with did 1 or 2, and we still are grappling with some few challenges that's not making us effectively take off. And all of a sudden, boom, this happens. What does this portend for the free trade after?
Well, thank you again. So, first of all, every form of insecurity affects the free movement of people and goods. So already, insecurity in other parts of Africa has contributed to the low levels of intra-Africa trade and even trade within countries, because you can't move because of safety and security issues. So the coups in those countries already affected the ability of goods to move. Then, of course, secondly, these countries were sanctioned, most of which had some trade implications. So that already affected regional and continental trade, including the AFCFTA. Thirdly, because these countries were suspended, they were not parties, or they couldn't be parties to certain level of negotiations and representation at both the regional and continental level. I know in some contexts, operational parts, they're able to participate, but not at the political making decision level. So if the AU is having a meeting or a discussion, they cannot be able to represent officially because they've been suspended.
Right.
Then, of course, the AFCFTA negotiations and implementation built on the achievements of the regional economic communities. So if a part of the regional bloc has been chipped or is being chipped off, it affects how the bloc represents and how the bloc can participate effectively in the AFCFTA trade. Then I will also indicate that because the REX, the harmony of the REX is an indicator of the strength of the trade, this also has that kind of effect. So in a nutshell, these developments have not augured well for the continental efforts coming from ECOWAS. In fact, in some informal circles, everybody says, why is ECOWAS taking us this far? You know, it's like everywhere is, I mean, in COMESA or SADC region or EAC region, even with DRC and co, things are, there's generally some semblance of peace and therefore more trade and integration going on. But in this side, we are having some effects. So yes, let's also not forget, these three countries represent at least 8% of the GDP of ECOWAS.
Right.
So much as it may look small, of course, in GDP terms, this will be very significant. So yes, the effects are very, very numerous.
I come to Dr. Adam Bona and find out from you, in terms of overall stability and security, what does the withdrawal of these three Sahelian countries, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, mean for the West African sub-region?
I have said this severally in various meetings with ECOWAS. I keep asking them, at what point do they come to the people, citizens of West Africa, to take feedback? Do they come to us for feedback? No. You have leaders who meet around a table like this and have tea and coffee and eat from our purse, and they regroup and take decisions that affect the people economically, trade, politically, security, and at the moment, the sub-region is in disarray. Accra Initiative is on its knees. The Accra Initiative was to deal with some of the insurgencies we are seeing in the Sahel region. One morning, you get up and President Tinubu, respectfully says that we are going to invade Niger. I mean, who does that?
You said that?
Who does that? Yes, of course, they were going to send men in. And some of us criticized it. I had the opportunity to meet the outgone Chief of Defense Staff of the Ghana Armed Forces, and I told him that Ghana is a critical player. Yes, it's a critical player when it comes to sub-regional grouping, in fact, in the world and, in Africa. And therefore, whatever role we are going to play, we've got to be very careful because we are not paying you, the Ghanaian military, to go into Niger and go and kill our soldiers or our boys. He told me, well, they are going to meet, but fortunately, they haven't done that. For some of us, I say that we need to start speaking truth to power. Because at the end of the day, you see, what is happening to the Sahelian countries? Fortunately for Ghana, we haven't had any issue. But the truth is that let's not think that, for us, we are free from all of these things. We have to start speaking to our leaders and letting them know that. How do you see or tell me that Niger, one of the biggest, you are suspending them, and that will not affect the ordinary citizen who has to take a flight, and that flight will be cheaper if it goes through Niger. It means you don't care about me because you would go with your private jets or presidential jets, so you don't care. So all that I am trying to say is that our leaders should come to the party. We are asking them to start listening to the people. Let's start asking them questions. Let's come to a round table. When have you heard that the ECOWAS bloc ordinarily have had a meeting where, they allowed civil society to ask them questions? Let them know what our viewpoints and opinions are when it comes to issues of security, economy, trade, and all those things. We don't have it. We have a lot of onions coming from Niger, Burkina, and the rest. You are telling us that they've been suspended. They said they have ceded. Now you are saying, we are allowing you back. So now they are bargaining power. Anyone who has done mediation and negotiation will tell you that now they have the key to whether they would agree or they will not agree to come in. Because then when you left, somebody occupied that vacancy.
Right.
So if you want to go back there, they will give you their terms and conditions that this is what we want. And I am on the board of the Small Arms Commission, light weapons, representing small civil society. There are several treaties that have been signed, and these countries that ceded are part of the treaties signed within ECOWAS. The moment they wrote that they've ceded, technically, it means that these treaties don't work. And one of the treaties has to do with arms trade. So if you were, let's say, in Niger and you wanted to import firearms, the treaty says that all the other countries would have to know what you are importing. When I say no, they must know the numbers and other things. If they disagree, you can't bring them in. And the reason is that so that one country cannot arm against the other.
Right.
Today, these countries, unfortunately, ceded. You are now calling them back. Do we know what has come in? So now we are all endangered species, excuse me to say, within the sub-region. So for me, to put it lightly, I would want our leaders to smell the coffee. They should come to the party, smell the coffee, and know how difficult it is to go to Malamata market, where onions prices have gone up because they are no longer coming freely from Niger and the other countries. This is what I can say.
All right, viewers, we hope the upcoming events that will unfold will lead to better outcomes for the countries involved, as well as the whole of West Africa. Now, let us pick a few of the comments you shared with us after we go on break, and then we'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
My name is Matilda from Nungwa. How will trade be conducted now that there's this back and forth between these three states and ECOWAS?
When countries are put under such sanctions, it is not expected that trade will flow formally. What it then means is that goods will not be able to go from, let's say, Tema to Waga formally, and then also vice versa. That is what it is as it is now. However, because we already have a lot of informal cross-border trade, we have a lot of porous borders, options to move goods here and there. What you often see is that the goods that are moving used some of these routes to come through.
Hi, I'm Majid in Accra. Can you ask the security expert what he suspects will be the thoughts of terrorists lurking in the background with all the current developments?
To answer the person who asked the question directly, I mean, obviously the terrorists will be happy because then they know that once we are fighting among ourselves, it means we are not talking among ourselves. And therefore, collaboration, monitoring, and tracing and tracking and trying to neutralize them, our ability to do that obviously would have diminished to the barest minimum. And so as far as I'm concerned, yes, they will be happy.
Ohima, what will you take your number first? By you. You have to say take your number, give me.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Philip, can't come on. Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Goyle is good energy. Electricity. Then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let us pick other news from our local port and maritime sector. Oil spills are among common maritime incidents that require maximum collaborative efforts to prevent and curtail due to dire environmental and financial implications that arise from them. This is why Ghana has since 1986 sought the help of the International Maritime Organization in developing an oil spill contingency plan. Contingency plans, however, are kept alive by constant training and exercises. To this end, officials from Ghana's maritime sector agencies are undergoing training in the various stages of the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan to prepare them for any unfortunate incidents in the future. As part of a 4-day training program, these officials have visited the port of Tema to acquire first-hand experience of the appropriate use of oil spill apparatus. The exercise was organized by the Environmental Protection Agency and the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and facilitated by experts from Norwegian maritime and environmental firm Novamari. The director in charge of petroleum at the Environmental Protection Agency, Kojo Agbeno Efunam, explained that practical training in such an operational area was necessary for the contingency plan.
For example, we came here almost in the morning, but it is getting a bit late now. So that tells you that even you can have the equipment, but mobilization also takes a lot of time. So the time factor is also important for our training, to let the participants understand that it is not only having the resources that is important, but then you must also input the time.
An emergency preparedness advisor at Novamari, Svianum Naimak, highlighted the significance of continuous training at the operational level to maintain momentum.
I can say with certainty, if the workers or the operators do what they now have shown us, I can say for certain, yes, you are capable. What we know from experience is that if you do it once and never again, you will forget it. So my recommendation would be to practice, have an exercises from time to time to keep the knowledge at hand.
The on-scene commander and deputy harbour master logistics at GPHA, Captain Daniel Korte, on his part, said GPHA is keen on continuous training to stay prepared ahead of unforeseen circumstances.
Because I don't want any situation to arise and we'll be called upon and we cannot deliver. Because at the end of the day, this is what we are mandated to do. And this is what we are taxed to do. So we have always, day and night, tried to put our house in order. Because we never know when the next oil spill will occur.
Management of the Tema Fishing Harbour has met with stakeholders to discuss ongoing projects at the fishing harbour and pertinent issues affecting business there. Held at the NAFAG Hall, this is the first quarterly stakeholder meeting since the postponement of public gatherings due to COVID-19. Addressing the gathering, General Manager in charge of the Tema Fishing Harbour, Engineer Kwabna Samoa, detailed a number of key projects that the authority embarked on over the past few years. This includes the reconstruction of the trapezoid drain and estuary abutment at the Chemu Lagoon, an initiative to restore the lagoon to its original state where aquatic life thrived. New marine fenders have also been installed at the fishing harbour to improve the berthing experience of fishing vessels. The authority has also renovated the fish market hall and completed an accompanying health post for the fishing community who do business at the harbour. GPHA also constructed canoe basin sheds to provide a convenient and safe facility for the handling of fish. Engineer Samoa said that despite the fact that some of these investments do not present direct commercial benefits to the Port Authority, they are in line with GPHA's vision to create an enabling environment for the fishing industry to thrive.
And it is the aim of GPHA management to support the fishing industry as much as possible. You see, if you look at our operations, to us is like some sort of corporate social responsibility. We are not charging our services as we charge in the main port. The main port is purely commercial, and we want to support the fishing industry. We know the benefits. We know the benefits from employment to right through to the economy, the support the fishing industry gives to the economy. So everybody is doing what we can, GPHA management, to support the fishing industry. So the projects we do, they are not to make money, but to enhance the work the fishing community undertake.
He also revealed that the Tema Fishing Harbour has obtained certifications with the International Organization for Standardization, indicating management's commitment to quality services, occupational health and safety, and environmental sustainability.
In line with our vision and mission, I'm happy to inform you that your port and your fishing port is now ISO certified.
The occasion was also used to announce new executives for the National Fisheries Association of Ghana, NAFAG, whose president is now Nana Jojo Solomon.
The General Manager in charge of Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has thrown a challenge to female employees of the authority to accept roles at the operational areas of the port to deepen their know-how of the industry they find themselves in. She said female employees, in their bid to rise up the ranks and contribute more meaningfully to the organization, must be open to taking up new roles that challenges them to learn and serve. According to the woman presently in charge of managing the marketing and public relations as well as corporate affairs of GPHA, attributed her success to this approach during her early stages of her illustrious career.
I want to encourage you that if you have the opportunity, go to operations. It is very key. It is very critical. And you know, I realized that when I even came to headquarters to be part of the top management team, everything that comes to DG's office has something operations. Everything. And so if the DG asks you for your comment, for your advice, you are going to do that based on the knowledge that you have obtained from operations.
She was speaking during a coaching session with members of the Ghana chapter of the Network of Professional Women in Maritime and Port sectors of West and Central Africa. The coaching session served as a testament to her dedication to fostering a culture of diversity and excellence within the industry. Esther J.B. Donko encouraged aspiring female professionals to conduct themselves with integrity and eschewed practices that will bring disrepute to themselves and their colleagues, having faith that with hard work they will reach their career destinations. She highlighted the significance of perseverance and dedication in pursuing one's goal, drawing inspiration from her own life's story.
Don't be perturbed at all. Concentrate on what you are doing and be focused. Don't be down because you have not been promoted and then you change your working habits and become somebody who is lazy, somebody that cannot be trusted, somebody that is not committed. Please make sure that you are committed to what you do.
Mama One, as affectionately called by her subordinates, told her audience to draw strength in teamwork, something that has been a pivot in her career.
You need not be a manager before you can start delegating. Some of you are here, you have juniors under you. So wherever you find yourself, please delegate. Work as a team, teamwork.
The accomplished marketing and public relations maritime professional with 30 years of experience is also a port management expert who is the first ever female terminal manager at Ghana's seaports.
Let us move to the global stage and see what is happening there. The UK's National Crime Agency has made what it believes to be the largest seizure of narcotics in British history. On February 8, its officers seized 5.7 tons of cocaine that had been concealed within a cargo of bananas from South America. The new record exceeds the previous one by 2 tons. The NCA's Near Europe Task Force identified the inbound shipment and flagged it for inspection. It was ultimately headed for the port of Hamburg, authorities believe, and would have been distributed on the German market. The NCA is investigating the identity of importers in cooperation with European partner agencies. The NCA estimates the street price of the cocaine at about $570 million. The typical wholesale price in South America would be in the range of $12 million. CMA CGM Indianapolis, the first new 7,000 CEU LNG dual-fuel car carrier in CMA CGM's fleet, has made its maiden call at BLG Auto Terminal, Bremerhaven, Germany. On its inaugural journey in Northern Europe, the 199.9-meter-long new build is in Bremerhaven not just for unloading, but also for LNG bunkering in Kaiserhaven. Delivered in December 2023 and built in China, the CMA CGM Indianapolis is the first of 4 identical ro-ro ships that will be sailing for CMA CGM in the future. The 3 other sister ships are scheduled to be delivered in 2024. It is now time for our Word of the Day segment, where we introduce words, phrases, jargons, terminologies, and abbreviations that we often use in this industry so you can get familiar with them. Today, we'll let you know what we mean by CEU. CEU, or Car Equivalent Unit, is the unit of measurement indicating the car carrying capacity of a vessel. Let us now take a look at the schedule of vessels that have berth in the ports of Tema and Takoradi and at the anchorages of both ports, as well as those expected in the coming weeks, plus the Bank of Ghana exchange rates, which you may need to know to clear your cargo with. This is where we close today's edition of Iron Pot. We hope you've been informed and educated. Remember, all Iron Pot content can be found on our YouTube channel, Iron Pot. Please subscribe, like, and give us feedback. Thank you for watching.